Come on in, Studio F. It's Fox and Friends. Brian Kilmeade is back from a couple of days away.
Yes, I am. And I'm just, I just like reading the paper.
What are you reading?
You know what? So does Joel. I mean, look at Joel Fulton, our stage manager, right over there. He is reading the New York Times, which, oh, isn't that interesting? The most powerful TV show in America, says the New York Times.
Oh, wait a minute. Don't move your arm. Look, Steve, you're pointing in that picture, and look what he's doing right now. Joel,
yeah, go ahead.
He's pointing at you.
You know what's interesting about this particular picture? Dave, come on in here. See, I'm pointing and we're all looking. I'm actually pointing at you because the TV monitor was on a different channel.
Right.
It wasn't on programming.
He
it was
loves
on
I Dream of Jeannie in the mornings. Yeah, absolutely.
Steve loves to point at Joel.
Right. And also, the New York Times might be Joel's choice, but I prefer the New York Post.
Oh, it's in there, too.
Right. I think it's there, too.
I think that's great. This says so much about you at home. Thank you so much for supporting us. We realize that we have jobs because of you, and we thank you so much for your support.
We do indeed. All right. Yesterday we had Anthony Scaramucci on this program, and he was talking about a little bit about how the administration was happy that apparently Jeff Sessions is going to start going after some leakers. And then several hours after that, online, some of Mr. Scaramucci's personal financial information. We knew he was a rich guy, and he made a lot of money in the last year or so. And suddenly, I think it was Politico came out and had his financial disclosure stuff, which had not been released to the public. So somebody was leaking on him.
So he was on the receiving end of the leak.
Yes.
So it was supposed to be at the end of the month that this was supposed to come out. You're supposed to do a background check. And if you wanted to go get a freedom of information request, act request, you can go find out if you need to know what Anthony Scaramucci was worth or making. Instead, this decides to come out in order to, I guess, muddy the waters. And he says, no problem. I have an offense for this. He says this last night in a tweet. In light of the leak of my financial disclosure information, which is a felony, I will be contacting the FBI and the Justice Department, Senator Sessions expected call, hashtag swamp at Reince 45. So many people wonder, does he think that Reince Priebus leaked this?
The leaker. Well, many people were asking that. So then he tweets out, wrong. Tweet was public notice to leakers that all senior administration officials are helping to end illegal leaks at Reince 45. And he said that he is talking to the communications department throughout the White House with different communications people and making sure they're on top of it as well. He said whoever's leaking this is going to get fired.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so in the first tweet, it sure looks like he's blaming Reince Priebus for some of the leaks, right? Well, according to National Journal, they put out a report that Scaramucci himself did, in fact, report Reince to the FBI. So even though that second tweet came out, he did report him to the FBI, according to National Journal. But then again, if you were watching Hannity last night, this kind of makes sense. Listen to this, and he talks about the leaks.
Some people think that we're naive, and when I've said I'm going to get rid of the leaks, I know I'm in a cesspool called Washington or a swamp called Washington, so it'll be virtually impossible to get rid of every leak, but I think we can take dramatic steps to get rid of leaks. Now, one of the big problems here that I'm discovering in the comms team is that senior people are really the guys doing the leaking, and they ask junior people to leak for them. And so I'm very proud to be reporting directly to the president so that I can hermetically seal off the comms team from this sort of nonsense.
Remember Anthony Scaramucci when he made those remarks when he said, I'm taking the job, anybody have any questions? A lot of people said, is it true you don't get along with Reince? And he says, we're like brothers. Is it true they're like brothers? But are they like brothers, like really, really tight, or are they like Cain and Abel?
But in the beginning,
where one kills another.
Keep in mind, in the beginning of the administration, Scaramucci, President Trump wanted him to be part of the administration, and stories go that apparently Reince Priebus stood in the way of Mr. Scaramucci joining the administration. So is this payback? Is there bad blood? We just know that these tweets look like Scaramucci is suggesting that Reince Priebus is a big leaker
Good for him.
At the White
He's
House.
coming in there. He's the new guy in town, the new sheriff, and he's coming in saying, I'm going to clean house. If you're leaking, we're going to catch you.
But think about it. This is almost like a House of Cards thing. If Reince Priebus were, in fact, the leaker, and we don't know, but that would be so significant that you would have the President of the United States out at the podium saying, you know what, somebody's leaking in here, we're going to find out. And then months later, it's revealed that it is somebody high in your administration. Mm-hmm. That is heartbreaking.
Well, the other big story is about what's going on with the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions. We know he was the first established politician to really endorse the President of the United States. And now, if you just read the President's Twitter feed, you understand that he's been under attack from this president, who's very disappointed that he ended up recusing himself. And a lot of legal experts said he had no choice. Let's debate that. But he did not stop. He used the term beleaguered. Was he pushing Jeff Sessions to be tougher across the board, besides illegal immigration, besides crackdown on crime across the country? Was he wanting to crack down on other things, from Hillary Clinton to maybe even the leaks within his administration? Perhaps we have the first clue, because he seems to have taken a much tougher stance after the information was leaked about Anthony Scaramucci, and he called on the FBI to take action. Here's an example.
Here's a statement from the DOJ spokesperson, Sarah Isgur Flores, and she says, "We have seen an astonishing increase in the number of leaks of classified national security information in recent months. We agree with Anthony that these staggering numbers of leaks are undermining the ability of our government to function and to protect this country. Like the Attorney General has said, whenever a case can be made, we will seek to put some people in jail, and we will aggressively pursue leak cases wherever they may lead."
Okay, so you've got the president talking about how he's disappointed in Jeff Sessions, and then you look at that and you wonder, okay, was the president trying to push him to be firmer and go after leakers and stuff like that? If true, then it obviously worked. Or was he suggesting you got to get out of the job, and he's putting maximum pressure on him? The Washington Post had a story that apparently the president had consulted people in the administration, another one of those leaks, folks, that he was thinking about a recess appointment when Congress gets out of town, appoint somebody new after he gets fired. But the White House said that is not correct. Then Chuck Grassley, the guy who runs the Senate Judiciary Committee, yesterday said, on our agenda, we don't have room for that. Number one, we're going to go ahead and we're going to confirm judges. Then sub-cabinet, no room for a new attorney general.
To get rid of Attorney General Sessions would be a disaster for the administration. It would also break up a lot of fissures. It would create some fissures within the Republican establishment, many of which gave another look at President Trump when he was nominee Trump, because Jeff Sessions endorsed him.
Right, well, the vice president last night, he was defending the president about this. He was on with Tucker last night. Take a listen.
I think the president's been very candid that he was disappointed with the Attorney General's decision to recuse himself and to not know about his intention to do so before he was confirmed. The Washington way is to talk behind people's backs, but that's not President Donald Trump's approach. One of the great things about this president is you always know where you stand. And I think what the American people like about this president is he speaks candidly, he speaks openly. That doesn't mean that we don't recognize the good work the Justice Department has been doing under the Attorney General's leadership, taking on MS-13 gangs, removing them from the streets, confronting sanctuary cities, rolling back that policy across the country.
And so you can get the frustration from the administration. You know, had Jeff Sessions not recused himself, they wouldn't have a special prosecutor. And the Trump administration wouldn't be feeling all this heat if they had an attorney general who was not where we are right now.
Let us know what you think about that. Should he have recused himself?
Well, legal experts said he had no choice.
All right, meanwhile, a Fox News alert, horror striking the Ohio State Fair. At least one person is dead, a number of others fighting for their lives at this hour.
Look at that. Look on the bottom right-hand side of your screen there. This ride breaking apart 30 feet